First, again, we need to zero it out to make sure we have a zero value to work with. So I'm going to use the freeze transform option. In the motion panel, I'm going to open up the assign controller window. You can see that it has an IK controller on it because that bone chain is controlled by IK solver. Has an FK subcontroller, and that FK subcontroller has a position list in it, and we're going to be working with the zeroed out X position. I'm going to change the controller on it to be a float expression. The expression editor in Max is an old bit of technology that was added in version 1. A lot of people don't use it anymore, but it's very, very good because it's very fast. Other options like the script controller can be much slower in a lot of circumstances. The expression controller doesn't have as much flexibility as a script controller, but in this instance we don't need that kind of flexibility. Like any expressions, we need to create some variables. Our first variable is going to be a scalar variable. Scalar variable is just a single value, 10, let's say. In this case, I'm going to call it con for constant, and then create, and it puts it in the scalar window. Our con value is actually going to be the original length. I'm going to say assign constant to con, cut and paste that length in and say OK. Con is now equal to that value. We also need to know the changing length between this point helper and the ankle. So I'm going to call those th for thigh, and this is going to be a vector variable, and a vector variable is a xyz position value in this case. And I'm going to say create, and it's added to the vector dialog box here. And I'm also going to create an for ankle, and that adds that as well. We now need to add the objects to these variables to make them become equal to something. It's easiest if you select the object you're going to work with. I'm going to select the variable, say assign to controller, open the controllers dialog, and you can right click on here and say expand objects if need be. And the one that's currently selected on screen will be highlighted in yellow. I want to pick 0.02, say OK. For AN, I'm going to pick the ankle joint, and that is the nub bone on the end of the foot chain. I can't use the nub bone on the end of the leg because, again, this object is part of the equation, and it would create a circular dependency because it would be trying to control itself. So I'm going to use this one on the end of the foot bones. Assign controller again, bone 18, and say OK. The expression is currently a value of 0. That's because we zeroed out the controller on this object, and the x value was a value of 0. We're going to change that now to an expression. We can look in the function list and we can find functions that are available to us. Length v is the one we're going to be using. We don't have a distance command in the expression window. Length v basically gives you the length of the vector v. And that would be, for us, the distance between these two objects from 0, or 0, 0, 0. So length an minus th. An minus th will get us a single vector, and the length will return us the length between this vector and a value of 0, 0, 0. If I say evaluate now, you'll see that the calf bone stretches really long. This is because the current length is actually 49.9. So to subtract that out and get a value of starting value of 0 again, minus con. So we're going to include now our scalar variable and say evaluate, and our knee joint pops back to where it was. The expression isn't done yet because now we have an expression